Hey everyone, Piano Man Chuck here. This video is a little different. People have always asked me what it was like growing up with perfect pitch and what it's like today having perfect pitch. Before I answer that, let me just go into the definition of what perfect pitch is. Perfect pitch is basically a common term. The scientific term is absolute pitch. It means you can hear a note or music and you know exactly what those notes or musical notes are that you're hearing without a reference point. So I could actually hear a song on the radio and know every single note that was being played and every note within every chord that was being played, and I could sit down at the piano and just play it, because if I know what it sounds like in my head, I could easily transfer that to my fingers and play it. Now, what's it like growing up with that? Let's rewind to the time I was 5 years old and I expressed an interest in a toy piano. And my parents picked up on it and they found a piano teacher and piano lessons began. And one of the first lessons was the teacher said, I want you to learn all the keys on the piano. I want you to learn what every note is. So she'd tell me, what key this is and what note that presents and so on and so forth. Okay, so I go home and I learn the notes on the piano and I come back the following week. I go back to the piano teacher's place and she's got this really cool cat happening over here, and I'm watching this cat of hers because I'm fascinated. I love animals. So I'm watching this cat, and she's playing these notes on the piano, and she's like, what is this note? I'm looking at the cat. I said, that's an A. All right. So she plays another note. I'm still looking at the cat, and I got that right. And she does this a few times, and every time that she plays a note, I get it right. And I'm never looking at the piano to see what physical key she's actually pressing. I am looking at her cat. So she picks up on this and said, you have perfect pitch. You weren't even looking. Well, I'm 5 years old and I'm thinking, okay. I mean, to me, I had no idea what perfect pitch meant. I had no idea that the rest of the world wasn't like that. And to give you an analogy, most of you, unless you're colorblind, you can walk into any kind of room or even into a forest and you can tell me every single color that you see. The ceiling, the floor, the wall, all the objects in the room, all the leaves on a tree, the colors of the insects and everything that you see in a field. They all have a color, and you know what those colors are. Well, just like the visual, the audio, I can do the same thing with audio. Everything I hear, I know what I'm hearing as I hear it. The individual notes, everything. So I can sit down on the piano and actually play it. I used to go to movies and come home and play the soundtrack, just like that. So because of that, I really didn't need to read music. Well, anyway, going back to the time I was 5, the piano teacher said that I'm beyond the capabilities of what she's able to teach, so she refers me to Julius Hayes, is what was his name. At the time, he was Dean of Music at Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan. And I began classical piano training with him at his private home from age 6 to 15. So he also had perfect pitch, but he was also fascinated, and with the fact that I had perfect pitch, he would sit down and play a musical piece and said, this is what it's supposed to sound like. So you try it. So I'm sitting there acting like I'm reading the notes on the music, on the sheet notation, and I'm playing back exactly what I heard, including the mistakes that he made. He didn't make mistakes. He throws in intentionally to see if I was reading the music or mimicking. And he would oh no, that's not a B flat, that is an A, blah, 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 blah. I said, but you played a And I realized, yeah, okay, I just told him I'm playing what I'm hearing and I'm not reading the music. Okay, so that's what it was like with the lessons anyway. And then later on in life, I went to college and I went to the music department, and they had all these music rooms right next to each other. Each room had a little console piano in it, and the walls, they weren't really soundproof, so I could hear what the person in the next room was playing. So I figured I'm going to have a little fun. So whatever the person was playing in the next room, I'd sit down on the piano in my room and play the same thing. And then you'd hear them stop. Then they'd start up again, and I'd play the same thing that they're playing, and then you hear them stop again. After a pause again, they'd start up, I'd start up, playing exactly what they heard. Then you hear the expected, their door opens, they come over, they're knocking on my door, and I open up and they're like, "What's going on in here, man? You got a tape recorder happening in here or something?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just messing with you, man. I'm just playing what I hear you play." And they're like, "Wow, you could do that?" So that's what it was like. And in college it was kind of fun because there was a piano in the cafeteria. So I was kind of shy growing up. I was kind of shy in my college. Approaching girls was a little bit difficult because I didn't know what to do. So I figured if I played piano, which I did, they'd approach me. So it made it a lot easier for me in that department too. So growing up with Perfect Pitch, it had a lot of pluses, but there's also minuses. I was in a lot of bands off and on in my life. And playing with bands was kind of tough for me because any song we would play, I'd know how to play it right away. And the other people would have to practice, and they'd have to play it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until they finally got it right. And I quickly lost patience for that because I was like, I can do this right off the bat. Why does somebody else have a problem with this? And again, perfect pitch, and not just perfect pitch, an audiographic memory, knowing everything I hear that I could play without practice, and realizing that most people are not like that. It was tough. So 12 years ago was the last time I was with a band. It was a 9-piece R&B band. And, it was fun. It was great being with a band. You got camaraderie and all that stuff. But like I said, the rehearsals and the practice and the over and over and over and over again until everybody got it right, I just couldn't deal with it. So I went solo. So I played solo piano. And I found amazingly enough, I did so much better as a solo pianist than I ever did in all my years combined of being with a band. So I could play whatever I heard. I just sat down at the piano. In fact, just the other week, I was over at the hospital lobby like I am every week, and I'm playing piano. Well, I've got this gig coming up for a Saturday, and all they wanted was the Beatles. So I figured, okay, I'm at the hospital lobby before that. I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to play just the Beatles. That way I'm practicing for my Saturday performance, and everybody's cool. Now, keep in mind, some of these Beatles songs I haven't heard in 20 years, and some of them I've never played at all. So it's the first time I'm playing some of these things, and I'm playing them perfectly. The only thing I have in front of me is my phablet, which is a combination tablet phone, and all that's on it is a list of songs from the Beatles. That's it. So when I see the song name, triggers what it sounds like in my head, and I'm able to play it. So that's what it's like having perfect pitch. Oh God, I would tune people's guitars. They hand me their guitar, I tune it for them, hand it back to it. No reference point. That's what it's like growing up with perfect pitch. It's also a turnoff to band members. It's also a turnoff to people that are trying to learn because unlike having to learn, in fact, with pianos, take a pianist for example. They take the sheet music, they learn one hand first, the right hand, then they learn the left hand, then they learn both together. And I'm like, wow, you can spend 2 weeks trying to learn one song, and some people will spend a month or two trying to perfect one song. I give them a lot of credit because now I realize that they don't have perfect pitch, they don't have an audiographic memory. This is the only way they can accomplish what they want to do. So having this talent, this capability, it's a gift. I've had a lot of fun with it. I am still having a lot of fun with it. In fact, I make a living. Part of my living comes from playing piano. Restaurants, lobbies, lounges, private parties. It's cool. I love it. But bands, those days are over, man. I just can't tolerate over and over and over and over until everybody gets it. And we're talking, this is just one song. So that's what it's like growing up with perfect pitch. And people have wanted to hear what this is like, so this is why I put this video together. So hopefully this will give you an insight of what it was like growing up with perfect pitch. Piano Man Chuck, peace out. Thanks for watching.